7:30 a.m. in Denver. The inbox blinked once, and a subject line cut through the quiet. Moving on. The kitchen held its breath. Steam feathered from a coffee mug. A toddler's spoon tapped the high chair tray, then went still. Anna Morales, 34, set the mug down with 2 careful fingers. Her shoulders squared. Across from her, the wall clock ticked in small metallic clicks. She opened the message. A single photo filled the screen. Mark Morales, 38, wrapped around a bright-haired 20-something in front of the Tahoe lake house. Their smiles were polished. The water behind them was glass. The caption below was colder than the picture. "The house is mine. I've moved in. My lawyer will send the papers. Deeds in my name." No commentary. No apology. Just the claim. Her eyes narrowed a fraction. The corner of the framed wedding photo caught sunlight, flaring white. A keyring hung from a hook, Tahoe stamped in nickel. The refrigerator hummed like a held note. She didn't flinch. Left thumb pressed the screen. Mark's contact vanished behind a block. Right index finger wrote 2 clean lines. "Are you sure about that? Better check the paperwork carefully." Send. The toddler laughed at the soft whoosh, drumming the spoon again. Anna lifted him from the chair, kissed his crown, and set him down with a stack of wooden blocks. She returned to the table, centered the laptop, and let the cursor blink. Outside, a delivery truck rattled past. Inside, the house stayed very still. The picture said victory. The edges said something else. On the counter, a slim binder stamped with her brand's logo, a brass pen aligned to its spine, a sealed envelope addressed to an attorney. None of it explained, all of it visible. The camera of your mind stayed wide, then tightened to her hands, steady, pale, unhurried. The clock ticked again. In some family revenge stories, the loudest move is silence. A door doesn't slam, a file quietly opens. Anna closed the email window. She wiped a coffee ring from the table with a folded towel. She lifted the binder, then set it back, exact as a metronome. The toddler rebuilt a small tower that leaned, and held. If you want the rest of this to unfold, and you like sharp, slow-burn family revenge stories, subscribe so you don't miss part 2. New episodes drop here every week. Another weekend wore a red circle. The air held a thin, waiting hush. Tahoe again. The phone lay face down. The house listened. Anna kept her rhythm from part 1. Quiet hands, steady gaze, no hurry. On Friday morning, Mark wheeled a suitcase to the door and checked his watch twice. He kissed their son's hair, then wiped invisible lint from his blazer. The wall clock clicked. So did the deadbolt when he left. Patterns accumulated in daylight. Calendar squares crowded in red. Fry sun. Fry sun. Fry sun. Receipts appeared in his pockets. Gas along I-80, a coffee shack near Donner Pass, a hardware store. Shirts came home with a perfume. Fine grit sifted from the trunk mat when Anna shook out the stroller. Neighbors noticed what neighbors notice. Across the street, Mr. Chen waved at Mark returning late, tie loosened, jacket over his shoulder, Tahoe dust on the cuffs. At the corner, Maya, Anna's friend, paused a greeting when Mark avoided her eyes and answered his buzzing phone with a hasty turn of his back. Delivery drivers rang twice on Thursdays. Mark signed for packages addressed to the lake house and set the boxes inside. He kept the phone on Do Not Disturb. Screen dimmed. Always face down. When he forgot once, the lock screen flashed an unfamiliar avatar, a sunrise over water, and a caption, "Up early." He flipped the phone so fast the spoon in the toddler's bowl clinked. A 7-second clip moved through the neighborhood text thread. A garage door at a lakeside address yawned open. A man in the same charcoal jacket stepped through the reflection on a windshield, carrying a canvas duffel. The license plate in the glass told a story the caption didn't. Small numbers shifted. ATM withdrawals on Thursday nights, under 100. Resort incidentals billed on Saturdays that didn't match Denver weekends. The college fund app blinked a low balance alert, then went quiet. Anna didn't speak to it. She pinned a note to the family board. Check auto drafts. She opened the freezer, took out waffles, plated 3, and buttered only 2. Across town, a sales rep from a home audio store asked, "Did Mark like the speakers?" The question hung. Anna's eyebrows rose. The rep continued, filling the silence with a nervous chuckle. He asked about a second set, delivery near the lake. That afternoon, a barista smiled too brightly and said, "See you both next time," though Anna stood alone at the counter. On social media, a new account posted lake mornings through tinted glass. Geotags pointed to Tahoe. In one frame, a polished silver kettle reflected a shoulder, a forearm, and a ring that wasn't Anna's. In family revenge stories, the truth announces itself long before anyone reads it aloud. People point. Cameras echo. Schedules testify. The chorus grows. That night, she closed the kitchen binder and slid a slim envelope labeled Records beneath it. The lights clicked off, leaving the red circle on next weekend's square glowing like a signal, steady as a metronome. Saturday broke clean and bright. Anna drew the kitchen blinds, set a thick envelope on the table, and wrote across it, "For Elena White." She dressed the boy, zipped his jacket, and buckled him into the car seat. At the bank, she asked for a new account, separate, silent, secure. Alerts on, transfer limits set, 2-factor codes reset, confirmations bloomed green. Back home, she reopened bills. Utilities moved to the new card. Childcare drafted from the new account. The college fund received a fresh deposit. The low balance banner vanished. She left the old joint account alive with a small allowance, a baited surface. Paper multiplied. Gas receipts along I-80, Saturday resort incidentals, 2 hardware slips, 1 audio invoice. She printed each, dated each, and slid them into clear sleeves. She photographed the gas pump totals and the odometer, aligning numbers with dates. The stroller tray caught Tahoe grit. She tipped it onto white paper and taped the grains beside a label. Trunk mat, Monday 6:40 a.m. In the bedroom, she lifted his blazer from the chair, photographed the collar, and sealed the plastic bag. The dresser photo showed a sun flare. She shot the reflection again, in case a small detail mattered later. Then tech. Company admin passwords changed, keys rotated, backup schedules hardened, access logs set to flag any remote probing from unknown IPs. A read-only portal for counsel went live. Counsel credentials printed, sealed, and couriered in a blue envelope. Her phone chimed. Motion detected. Living room, Tahoe. A gloved hand in the frame eased open the liquor cabinet and paused on a bottle she bought last winter. The bottle wobbled. A second hand steadied it, ring flashing. She touched the screen, saved the clip, and placed the phone face down. Mid-hook. Quiet hands. Moving pieces. At 10:30, she parked outside a stone building. White coal. In a conference room, she slid 3 labeled binders across the table. Property, finance, travel logs. Elena counted tabs and said only, "Sign here." Pen to paper. Date. Initials by 4-page corners. A Wednesday meeting set with a soft chime. She stopped at the post office. 1 encrypted drive went into a padded mailer, signature required. Another went to a deposit box, receipts folded, clipped, and photographed. Back at the house, she installed a second video doorbell and tested its mic. The toddler waved into the speaker and giggled at his own echo. A night patrol company confirmed 2 weeks of passes. The guard texted a photo of the first sweep at dusk. On social, the Sunrise account posted again, steam curling from a kettle, glass catching waterlight. She saved the image, not the caption. In family revenge stories, the board is set with paper and timestamps. The victory arrives with dry ink. At 5, she closed her laptop, locked the file drawer, and reset the alarm. A red circle still glowed on the calendar. The phone buzzed once more. Motion detected. Garage. Tahoe. She let the alert pass and switched off the light. 2 windows woke at once. On the left, Tahoe bloomed in a live feed. Driveway, brass handle, wind in the pines. On the right, a court e-file portal blinked. Ready. The wall clock in Denver clicked over to 9:02. Anna pressed, submit. Silence, then friction. A courier climbed the lake house steps and rapped. 3 quick, 1 sure. Process server, his voice carried under the eaves. Inside, motion. A shadow crossed the entry. A lock turned. Mark Morales opened the door with a practiced smile that slid when he saw the envelope. In Denver, the office light held its color. Files made straight edges. The toddler was at daycare. Anna's phone lay face down, screen dark. She lifted a glass, set it down, and checked a single checkbox. Delivery of temporary restraining order. Filed and served. Elena White's email appeared like a stamp. TRO granted for property preservation, business assets under hold, no disposal or relocation permitted. A second message from the bank arrived 1 beat later. Joint account transfers paused. Unusual activity flagged. At Tahoe, Mark tapped a card at a handheld terminal. The screen blinked. Declined. He tried again, jaw tight. Declined. A truck rolled its tailgate open. 2 framed pieces came off first, corners wrapped, inventory tags still stuck along the backing. The garage camera logged time and temperature as Mark waved the movers inside. "Careful with that frame," one said. The lapel mic picked up the scrape of a box against the threshold. A uniform stepped into view. "Mr. Morales?" The process server held out papers and a pen. "You've been served." He pointed to the highlighted lines. "Preserve status quo, no removal of listed items, immediate compliance required." Mark stared at the seal, then up at the lens in the porch light. Back in Denver, Elena's paralegal fired an e-fax to opposing counsel and attached 3 exhibits: 7 seconds of garage reflection, receipts along I-80, purchase records from Anna's company. The return banner read, "Stamped." Anna did not speak. She aligned a binder spine, initialed 2 fields, and centered a capped pen on a legal pad. The clock ticked in its lane. Mid-hook. The HOA gate scanner chirped. Access for a guest code changed to "suspended at owner request." On screen, a smart lock icon pulsed. New code saved. Mark tried the kitchen door. A soft beep. Red. "Amber," he called, voice low and sharp. The living room camera caught a hand with a bright ring hover over a liquor cabinet, hesitate, and withdraw. An auto email landed in Mark's inbox. Unauthorized asset handling recorded at 10/13/42. Preserve condition. Attached, still frame with watermark. Elena sent notices to the HOA and the security patrol to log every arrival and prevent removal of cataloged furnishings. The mover scratched his cheek, took a call, and set the crate back on the floor. The split screen told a simple story. In Tahoe, motion slowed, then stilled. In Denver, a laptop closed with a soft click. Anna slipped the phone into her blazer, lifted her bag, and stood. In family revenge stories, the first counterstrike rarely shouts. It documents, freezes, and waits. Mark's phone began to buzz. Mom, Dad, family group. He glanced at the ceiling camera again, pressed his lips flat, and stepped away from the canvases as the door eased shut on its own slower hinge. Calls stacked. Voices rose behind glass. The phones began screaming before the hinges finished settling. Mom, Dad, family group. Unknown, HOA. Mark stared at the vibrating stack, glass doors reflecting a face pulled tight. "Mark?" his mother said, voice tremoring through speaker. "What did you do?" "They set a restraining order." His father cut in, flat and measured. "Answer cleanly. Are you removing company property from that house?" Mark paced to the kitchen island, palm pressing a circle into the stone. "It's my house." A chime interrupted. Email from HR. "Confidential meeting, Monday 9:00 a.m. Another followed. "Notice of hearing, courtroom 4B, Tuesday 10:00. The cursor on his tablet hovered, unclicked. Group chat flared. An aunt typed, "Keep it offline." His sister wrote, "Mom's crying. Come home tonight." A cousin added 3 fire emojis, then deleted them. Amber posted a story. Stemmed glass, lake glitter, caption. Progress, noise. Comments split down the middle. One friend tagged an old Tahoe selfie. Amber removed it in under a minute. Screenshots surfaced in the residents' forum anyway. The HOA manager called, tone courteous, spine steel. Guest access to the property is suspended per the owner's notice. Items listed in the court order must remain. Our patrol will log all entries. He paused. I recommend cooperation. At the gate, the guard recorded license plates, times, brief descriptions. The courier signed a hold slip. Movers rolled the crate back to the wall and leaned on their phones. Across town in Denver, people noticed what people notice. A neighbor lifted 2 fingers in a quiet greeting as Anna carried her son inside. Maya texted, "Package received." Photo sent to Elena. Anna replied with a single dot and set the stroller brake. Down the lake, a barista whispered, "They argued about the framed pieces." A delivery driver shrugged to another. "Guy's card kept bouncing." At the gym, a coworker told a coworker, HR put him on the Monday docket. Likes thinned on Mark's latest post. 2 colleagues switched their follows to private. Dinner by video went poorly. His mother on one tile, eyes red, hand at temple. His father on another, jaw set. "Apologize," she said. "Return the keys," he said. Mark pulled breath through his teeth. "I know what I'm doing." Off camera, Amber's voice bled in, bright and brittle. "You said the deed was yours." His father's screen dimmed to near black. The call ended with an abrupt click, mid-hook. 2 emails layered on his lock screen, one from counsel requesting preservation, one from the bank confirming the hold. He set the phone down as if it might scorch the counter. In the Tahoe residence thread, a moderator pinned a reminder. Quiet hours begin at 9 p.m. Security may request ID. Someone replied with a photo of the patrol SUV idling by the pier. Someone else posted a blurry still of a ringed hand near a liquor cabinet. The public began choosing a side without saying so. In family revenge stories, crowds lean toward records, not rants. Mark stood under the ceiling camera, lips tightened to a flat line. Screens told 2 very different truths. Across town, Anna loaded a folder into her bag and clicked off the hallway light. 2 houses, same hour. One hummed with calls, the other with quiet, documented steps. The hallway monitor reads Courtroom 4B. Doors part, white light spills. Shoes click. Anna walks in with shoulders level. Mark slides his phone into a pocket without looking up. The room is cold and orderly. A red dot glows on each microphone. Elena White sets 3 binders in a clean row. Across the aisle, opposing counsel stacks papers too fast. Amber takes a seat in the second row, sunglasses pushed to her hairline. The judge enters. One rap of the gavel. "This is a TRO hearing. Identify yourselves and keep your answers brief." The clock above the seal hums. Elena speaks first. "For the record, we ask to preserve status quo. Real property, cataloged business assets, and associated digital records." She taps to cue the exhibits. A 7-second garage reflection, resort incidentals, I-80 fuel receipts, purchase invoices from Anna's company. The screen shows timestamps. The audio catches the mover saying, "Careful with that frame." Opposing counsel clears his throat. "Your Honor, the deed bears Mr. Morales' name." He reasonably believed. "Counsel," the judge says, "address the exhibits." The side display fills with stills. A ringed hand hovering over the liquor cabinet, inventory tags on the backs of framed pieces, the porch camera labeling temperature and time. Elena narrates only as needed. Marked plaintiffs 3 through 7. The HOA manager testifies. Guest codes were suspended at owner request. Attempts to enter were logged at these times. He reads plates, minutes, and initials. A security officer follows with a spiral notebook and a steady voice. A bank representative appears by video. "We placed a temporary hold on the joint account following a fraud alert. Reference numbers are in our letter." The camera catches Mark's jaw flex. Direct questions begin. Judge: "Mr. Morales, did you attempt to move the listed items?" Mark: "Those are mine." Elena: "Purchased through plaintiff's company. Invoices show corporate funds." Amber exhales. The judge glances over her glasses and the sound stops. A paralegal brings Elena a still image, license plate mirrored in a windshield. Opposing counsel asks for a recess. Denied. Mark grips the table edge until his knuckles blanch. The judge speaks. The court extends the temporary restraining order. All items on the inventory are sealed in place. No transfer, alteration, or destruction. Both parties will complete full inventories within 72 hours. She turns a page. There are to be no attempts to access plaintiff's business systems. IT logs will be monitored. Violations report directly to Chambers. Elena nods once. Opposing counsel nods twice. The hearing ends as quietly as it began. Chairs scrape. The microphones wink, dark. In the aisle, HR pings Mark. Confirm Monday, 9:00 a.m. His phone vibrates again. Unknown local number. He lets it ring out. Amber smooths her sleeve. The sunglasses slip forward. She pushes them back with a fingertip. A reporter at the doorway asks, "Any comment?" Anna keeps moving, files against her side, chin level. Elena shields the path with a palm and a polite, "Not today." In family revenge stories, the loudest moment is a signature, not a shout. The elevator doors close on a small square of quiet. Mark stares at the paper crease in his palm, where the order folded. His screen lights one more time. Compliance notice, immediate. He swallows, nods to no one, and steps in when the doors reopen to the next floor's bell. Monday arrived without fanfare, and the HR meeting ended in 9 minutes flat. Mark's badge beeped red at the elevator turnstile. A security officer escorted him to the lobby, his company laptop sealed inside a gray evidence bag. An internal email followed him out the revolving door. Administrative leave pending investigation. The bullet points were simple. Return equipment. Cease external contact. No access to partners. IT sent the second note before lunch. Credentials revoked. His work phone reset mid-scroll. A compliance tech downloaded login logs to a labeled drive and slid it into a tamper strip. One line below the signature blinked. Failure to comply may result in termination. At Tahoe, the scene was smaller but louder. A quiet ticket from the HOA cited a quiet hours violation. A fluorescent, hold, court order tag was reaffixed to the crate of framed pieces. A delivery man apologized to passing residents and photographed the barcode for his records. Cards failed in civilized places. A host murmured, "I'm sorry, sir," when the dinner tab refused to clear. An ATM screen flashed, insufficient. The bank pushed a final text. Hold extended. Local news ran a 2-paragraph item. Legal dispute at lakeside property, court order entered. Comments leaned toward documents, not drama. On LinkedIn, endorsements thinned. 2 colleagues switched profiles to private. A recruiter withdrew a message that had been cheerful last week. Amber's mood shifted by hours. When will this be fixed? Turned into, why is the guest code off? And then, please stop tagging me. Her story became a quiet gradient with the caption, taking a break. At the coffee stand near the pier, a neighbor heard, "You said the deed was yours." By dusk, a suitcase rolled to the curb. Security logged the license plate. An SUV door opened, clicked shut, and pulled away. Mark watched through the glass with his hands in his pockets. Family trimmed its phrases. "Don't be late," his mother texted. His father let the call ring. His sister wrote, "Comply. Stop talking. Fix it." Compliance asked questions in a windowless room. A recorder glow pulsed on the table. "Did you attempt to access the plaintiff's business systems?" The pause outlasted the ventilation hum. Certified mail arrived. Hearing date set, inventory due, a warning about contempt if the TRO bent by an inch. The return receipt waited for his signature. Memberships expired in public. The gym cited overdue fees. The golf club blocked tea times. The HOA newsletter inched a boldface reminder toward the top of page 2. Follow court directives. Neighbors waved less or not at all. Bills stacked, crisp and ordinary. Council requested a retainer. Short-term housing pushed rent due. A postal slip threatened a surcharge for missed pickup. Across town, a billboard climbed into evening light. Anna's brand, fall launch, white letters on pale blue. Mark passed under it on his way home, eyes lowered. In family revenge stories, the fall seldom arrives with a crash. It's a sequence of doors that don't open, accounts that don't clear, names that stop being said out loud. Night found him in a rental with thin walls and colder air. His phone glowed with reminders he couldn't mute. On another screen, not his, a studio lamp warmed to life. Dawn hit the switches before the city had fully woken. Softboxes bloomed. A thin hum filled the studio. Anna rolled a rack into place and nodded once to her crew. 10-minute stand-up began. Stylist called out looks. Logistics ticked through routes. PR flagged 3 interview requests and a fact sheet. Anna initialed the call sheet and tested a mic, then set it back in its cradle. The camera drifted across her hands, steady, ring light glinting in the polish. The company map had moved since last season. On the wall, an org chart held new names. A temporary COO box wore a green sticker, onboarding. It taped a laminated checklist beside the door, backups verified, permissions audited, breach alerts live. A tablet on the packing table scrolled orders in a disciplined column. The mood board sprawled over a drafting table, cotton swatches, traceable barcodes, a line that read Fair Labor, Verified. A supplier card clicked under a stamp. The photographer lifted his chin and the model stepped into the wash of light. Anna straightened a seam with 2 clips, checked the hem, and stepped back out of frame. A courier arrived with white boxes. Maya slit the tape and slid out velvet trays. "Retail pack," she said quietly. Elena stepped in for 5 minutes, placed a thin folder labeled Updates on a shelf, and left with a brief nod. A plush bear peered from a corner. The afternoon calendar block read Pediatric 4:30. Dashboards brightened. An arc of states lit across the shipping map. Units climbed one by one. The printer produced labels like breath. In the break room, someone set out fruit. No speeches, no drama, just motion doing its work. A chime cut the room. Subject line, terms accepted. A national retailer locked in the order. Heads lifted, smiles flashed and then tucked away. Anna tapped reply with 3 words. Acknowledged. Schedule attached. And turned to the next rack. Media asked for time now. PR stacked them at the end of day. 2 fashion blogs, 1 business weekly. "Stick to facts," the note on the clipboard read. "No color commentary." The lighting tech dimmed a panel and raised another 2 notches. The lookbook screen flicked through crisp frames, fabric, skin, light. Security sent a noon digest. No unauthorized attempts, all systems normal. The admin signed the shift log and closed the laptop. The studio door clicked once as the courier sealed a second encrypted drive for off-site storage. Afternoon brought neighbors, then customers. A small line formed under a modest banner. The POS chirped without fuss. A voice called, "Low on size 6?" and a runner jogged a box to the front. In family revenge stories, the cleanest answer is competence. In receipts, in audits, in signatures aligned on a page. The launch ended with short applause. Anna bowed her head a fraction, handed her bouquet to the seamstress, and returned the mic to the stand. She turned off one light, then another, leaving a halo over the brand backdrop. Outside, the hallway lamps led toward a month of green blocks on a calendar that was already filling itself in. 3 months slipped by like pages turning. Studio lights rose on cue. Lake Tahoe kept its hush on weekends. Anna's routines settled into clean beats. Friday restocks, Saturday workshops. A photo on the deck, mother and son, wind and hair, a new frame replacing an old. Inside, the smart lock read, "Home, work tracked forward in numbers." A business weekly ran a short piece on ethical growth. 2 more states joined the shipping map. The POS printed steady ribbons. A clerk flipped the sign to restock. Friday. Giving entered the calendar. A free clinic for local makers filled a community hall. The photo landed in the bulletin with a 1-line thank you. The studio's bear watched from a shelf, ears slightly crooked. Across town, the other timeline thinned. A rental window faced a parking lot. Letters stacked in a metal box. Mark queued at reception with a folder of resumes. A former coworker looked away at a coffee counter. HR's envelope arrived. Termination confirmed. His professional profile stopped changing. A billboard for Anna's fall collection lit the freeway at dusk. A taxi rolled past, windshield catching the logo like a clipped echo. Money made its own weather, late fee slips. A declined card at a discount mart. The clerk tried again, then pressed lips together. The building log recorded one final move-out for Amber. In family revenge stories, the quiet after the storm tells you which shoreline rose. At the lake house, inventory seals were gone and frames rehung. The HOA newsletter praised compliance. Its digest stayed blank for alarms. A small blue dot on Anna's calendar marked a short vacation. Morning spreads thin light across the deck. The framed photo of mother and son hangs straight. The lake barely ripples. The house alarm blinks green. Ledgers are closed, seals removed, names signed in the right places. Records over rants. That is the sound that lasts. Across town, one window glows warm above a packed weekend bag. Another stays dark beside a stack of letters and a declined receipt. In family revenge stories, the loud victories fade fast. The quiet ones endure. He believed he'd written her ending. He hadn't. He only turned the page. Her beginning starts here, clean lines, steady steps, and a shoreline higher than before, on this morning.